If we were in North Yorkshire, in Malham Cove or Brimham Rocks, there'd be a National Trust car park here, an air of gentrification. If we were in London, there'd be a fun obliterating queue stretching all the way round the block, and an air of strained, over-expectant tension. But we're in Wren's Nest Nature Reserve, just outside Dudley, so there's just you and me and the buttercups, still one moment, swaying the next, like the ripples on the exposed Silurian seabed behind me. I can't even think the word Silurian without thinking it in John Pertwee's voice. It's an exposed Silurian seabed, Joe. Don't worry, I'm not going to say anything about reversing the polarity of the neutron flow. It's incredible, though, to think that this was south of the equator at one time. But I suppose if I moved 200 centimetres a year for 425 million years, I could make a similar amount of progress. I might start this weekend. I might just about make it to Worcester before I pop my clogs. You often see families digging for fossils here on a Sunday afternoon, still looking for Calamini blumenbachii. If that's how it's pronounced, I'm too old to worry about what you think of my pronunciation. But that's the Latin name for the Dudley bug, the trilobite, the Dudley locust. I used to have a satisfying and hard plaster model of him, painted plaster model of him, that I got from Dudley Museum and Art Gallery when I was a little boy. I don't know where it is, with all my other lost things, I suppose. My 2000 AD space spinner, that lovely blue and red polka dot tootle scarf that I lost in the back of a taxi in Bearwood. It's sad to think of all of those little exhibits inside the now closed Dudley Museum and Art Gallery. The trilobite fossils themselves, those lovely pictures by Percy Shakespeare of Cates Hill, glinting in the darkness in their glass cases. Perhaps someone will burst upon them one day, like Tutankhamun's tomb. You can imagine them peering cautiously round the corners of the cases and scuttling forward in the half-light, like the disembodied and dismembered toys from under the bed in Toy Story 1. It exudes a power, this place. The stones themselves seem to exude a power. It reminds me of the monolith nestling inside the Welsh hillside, in the cavern, in the Changes. If you're not aware of the Changes, it's yet another one of those early 70s programmes for children that emitted such a shrill and deafening subtone of disquiet into the dreams and nascent adulthood of all of my generation. People who bought this also bought Children of the Stones, Escape into Night, Shadows, The Tomorrow People. You know where it's going. It's like a huge memento mori, but not composed of a single human stone skeleton. Rather, thousands of pre-human stone skeletons coalescing into a huge rearing mass. If it tells us anything, it tells us, at the risk of sounding like Nancy Griffith, that from a distance we all look the same. In the scale of its lifetime, I'm the contemporary of Abraham Darby, who was born on Wren's Nest Hill. We're both the contemporaries of William Shakespeare and of Julius Caesar. Those differences must be all but imperceptible to an eye so huge and so slow. Those houses, uniformity, ranged row upon row, they remind me of Philip Larkin's Afternoons, the way they sit almost apologetically in the background. But there's also something achingly black country about them. I can't quite seem to plumb its depths. Why is that?
I think it might be when you get further north, when you're looking at sort of hills with housing on, Yorkshire, Lancashire. They don't quite look like they've got the same sort of council house feel as all of this has.
No, I suppose they're made of local stone a lot of the time, and they're blackened as well. There's also that sense of kind of being on an inland, landlocked plateau, of it being high and very far from the sea. It reminds me of the view out of my long vanished 18th floor bedroom window in Collegate. There's something in it which sort of flutters at the heart of my childhood as well. I know it's round here. I'm sure I could be shown it and be in no doubt of that.
It's a little bit like the Bumblehole in Netherton in the feel of it.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Which also reminded me of what J.B. Priestley said about the north, that idea that the Black Country, the Midlands, is the Vale of Arden. It's a beautiful forest scarred by industrial techniques rather than a rather forbidding landscape in itself, and I think that's what gives it its quality. Yeah.
Yeah, because this looks like some sort of natural environment, sort of large parts of the Wren's Nest, but actually it was all quarried, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's all quarried for the limestone, for the flux, wasn't it, in the industrial process? So it is very much a Black Country nature spot, isn't it, in that regard?
Yeah.
See that log over there?
Yeah.
Looks a bit like an animal skull.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, or sort of a twisted up gas mask.
Yeah. Reminds me of Raggetty from the old Rupert annuals from the 1930s. There was a tree outside my bedroom window when I was a kid, and a part of it I thought was Raggetty for a while. Twisted Gas Mask would be a great name for a band, I think, for me and you to be in a metal band, a metal duo. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, like a spin-off band.
Yeah.
Twisted Gas Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do some drawings for the logos when we've finished up here.
Lovely.
What a brilliant place to sense the weight and power of the landscape it is here. Can you hear the ice cream van in the distance?
Yeah, it's very Silurian sort of sound, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can all those trilobites running for their 99s and their lollygobble chop bombs. I remember when the lollygobble chop bomb. It's very hard to say lollygobble chop bomb. The lollygobble chop bomb turned into the Fab. It was one of the great disappointments of my life. But it makes me think of the way that this place interacts with the town beyond it. You can hear that sort of blur and drone of the traffic beyond. And what was that you were just saying about what they should do with this place?
Yeah, so we've got a sort of big dip here, and it just reminds me in Mexico, where in the Yucatan Peninsula, where you get the cenotes. So you'd have a crystal clear blue pool at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, in amongst all these kind of layers of sediment and so on. The interlinking caves, like the Seven Sisters.
Yeah.
Really attractive sort of places to go and swim. That would be lovely here, instead of it's basically rubble.
Yeah.
But,
you could have sort of merchandise opportunities as well. You could have children's flotation devices in the shape of trilobites, couldn't you? actually, which reminds
Yes.
me, I was reading the trilobite featured on the Dudley coat of arms until 1974, until Pertwee's final season, in fact. And on it, there was a trilobite, a brontosaurus, a Davy lamp, an anchor, and a castle. What a fantastic array of Monopoly pieces those are. I'd be fighting you for all of those. And unfortunately, after 74, they were replaced with, I think, some pears and like a lozenge with a wobbly blue line on, which, if you're into heraldry, is probably something laughably obvious that I'd be very stupid for not knowing. But, you know, it's proof, if proof were ever needed, that things ain't what they used to be.
Why on earth did they take the trilobite off the Dudley coat of arms? That would have been the coolest coat of arms probably in the world.
It would indeed. It would indeed. In no part of England are more geological features brought together in a small compass than in the environs of Dudley, or in which their character have been more successfully developed by the labours of practical men. What a sentence. That's got to be the best sentence I've heard since the opening sentence of 100 Years of Solitude. How does it go, Harris?
Years later, as he faced the firing squad, Colonel Aureliano Buendia thought back to the day his father first took him to see ice.
What a ripper. There they are, the Seven Sisters, filled in with sand for the moment. There was a bid to turn them into a major tourist attraction a few years ago. Like the Paul McGann Doctor Who movie of 1996, it failed, and there they are, waiting for their next go-around. Let's hope it happens. There's something hugely magnetic about them, even in their filled-in state. Although the railings are a bit annoying, necessary I suppose, but they make it feel like they're a zoo exhibit. Perhaps something is lurking beyond those filled-in fissures. The whole thing's great though still, isn't it? It's like Jules Verne, Journey to the Centre of the Earth. You expect to see a cylindrical drill burrowing its way out and decanting Victorian travellers.
Bit like the mines of Moria as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A whole lot of Tolkien going on. What a view. It's like the view of Norwich from Stag Hill, only better. Because here you've got the added extra of that little letrosette strip transfer of Birmingham scribbled onto the skyline. West Brom to the one side, the hazy blue of the Clent Hills to the other. And Dudley before you. Once an equatorial sea, now the dense woodland rearing around, the prehistoric, the medieval and the modern districts. Darling, come quick. You can see my mum and dad's house from here. Almost.